So, you've gotten to a point in your gloving where you've learned most of the basics and know how to throw a decent light show and got a few cool concepts under your belt. You are now considered an intermediate glover. Most people are satisfied to get to a point in their gloving where they can throw a full light show. Most glovers who get into it won't reach this point because they've either given up, dropped gloving completely, or are strictly event glovers. Which I don't have a problem with, by the way. Y'all are cool, keep melting faces. But for those of you who are at this point, you might be wondering, what do I do to take it to the next level? How do I get good? In this video, I'll be sharing 5 tips that will start your transformation from an intermediate glover to an advanced one. You may choose to implement any one of these tips or even do a combination of them. Tip number 1, become a specialist. Now's the time to build a deeper understanding about individual concepts. This comes with a lot of experimenting with different body parts, pathings, breaking down particular moves, and researching who are the who's of this concept. You may even need to start taking inspiration from other dance forms. For example, concepts like tutting, liquid, and digits are so vast and have existed decades before gloving. So if you decide, hey, I want to specialize in liquid, there are other liquid groups that you may join. For example, the Floasis.net YouTube or Liquid Dance Lab Facebook page is a goldmine of liquid concepts, and even showcase some techniques that aren't even yet emphasized in gloving. Tip number 2, implement isolations everywhere. Grid perfection. Isolations are key when you analyze many of the top level glovers in the game. Having a level of isolation in nearly all your movements showcases a level of control and discipline you have within your grid. The grid becomes the golden standard. It takes someone with a high level of understanding of the grid to be able to present the illusion of the grid at command. It also takes a lot of bandwidth to do this with perfect logic and showcase levels of musicality at the same time. It's almost like staying within the lines of a coloring book. Knowing not to move certain body parts to maintain grid illusion is a core example of isolation and are shades of what makes a glover considered high level. Tip number 3, start splicing. Splicing is combining 2 concepts together to create a new concept. Got platforms in liquid? Do liquid platforms. Got impacting creatures? Do impacting creatures. Do not just limit yourself to just the core concepts either. You can splice specific rules from a concept with another specific rule from a concept. So for example, if I took just this wave and I combined it with a component from depth perception, then I could do the wave and maybe do some kind of cause and effect with the depth perception move, play with the hits. You see, so now I'm taking a concept from liquid and from depth perception, now I'm combining the 2. And you could play around with it. What if I did the wave and lifted the thumb? Or what if I did the wave with thumb and reversed that with the liquid? You see? So it's taking particular rules, combining them together to create new ones. If you are able to break down moves from any concept and take those specific rules and combine them with others, you've just exponentially multiplied your concept creations. I mean, there are millions of combinations, if you really think about it, waiting to be spliced, and this is currently where we are in the art form. We are meant to bastardize styles, bastardize styles, bastardize styles, bastardize styles, or even build upon them even more. Which brings me to the 4th tip. Throw away your style and start a new one. This one may be a little harder for some to accept, and I completely get it. Sometimes we create our own style and we fall too much in love with it that it actually holds us back from improving, or maybe even unlocking a new part of ourselves that we didn't know that we had. Trust me, I've been there. We're gonna try a little mental exercise, okay? So imagine the style that you have right now, okay? I want you to imagine backing it up on a flash drive, then putting it away and store it somewhere safe, okay? Don't forget about it. Just kind of take everything that you know, put it in a flash drive, and just store it somewhere safe. Sometimes starting new or reformatting your thinking may actually inspire us to move differently. So if you've had a style that was mainly platforming, right, put it away for now and start doing concepts that you're weak in. Let's say morphing, right? That way, when you become decent enough at morphing, now you can splice your old style with your new one, and then you just transform into this brand new version of yourself. And this is something that I like to do pretty often is I'll get into a style, throw it away, focus on a new one, rinse, repeat. And this method actually works best for me because it makes gloving feel new again. That's ultimately what makes gloving fun for me. Now the last tip number 5, break the rules. You probably understand the rules of one or two particular concepts, so now's the time to break them and make it work. You might have heard this phrase before, but you gotta know the rules in order to break the rules. And I will add that you gotta be able to at least execute the rules properly before breaking them, okay? So for example, in tutting, you might see movements that are executed in a straight X, Y, or Z axis, right? In most tutting, you'll see straight vertical lines, straight horizontal lines. You know, you gotta know how to perform tutting in a way that utilizes the vertical and horizontal lines. What if you want to start executing the lines in a diagonal angle? What if you did that often, right? Back in the day, doing diagonal lines was slightly looked down upon because it was seen as something that wasn't necessarily clean. But then what if you did an entire style based off diagonal pathings, right? This is an example of breaking the rules. As long as you present it in a way that's digestible for the audience, right? Then who could tell you otherwise, right? New styles are born this way, and many people end up breaking the rules before actually knowing them. The gap between an intermediate glover to an advanced one takes the longest. It may take months or many years to reach a level where most would consider you advanced. But these tips have been some of the most beneficial, at least for me, in order to improve at the rate in which I did, and hope these tips help you become a better glover. This question's for the more advanced glovers out there. What was your defining moment in which you thought you got good? Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe, and stick around for more Gloving Academy content. Peace. If you're looking for whites, batteries, skins, or any other gloving accessory, head on over to glow-leds.com and don't forget to use my code AlohaNation for 10% off. Big shout outs to all current Gloving Academy Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much for all the support. Seriously, guys. The Patreon's got weekly educational and never before seen content. So if you want to take your gloving to the next level and learn from me, come join the Gloving Academy Patreon.